Hey, my name is Frank Ahern, privacy consultant and author of the New York Times bestseller, How to Disappear. I have not spoken about romance scams in a while, and I feel like maybe it's time to do a little update on my thoughts and things of that nature. And romance scams originate online on the internet. Sometimes they happen on Facebook, Instagram, Google Hangouts, or on a dating app like Match.com, Plenty of Fish, eHarmony, any type of digital medium where people connect. One of the problems with online dating and online dating sites is they are slammed with God knows how many romance scammers out there. They use fake photos, they have fake backgrounds. One of the things is when you're connecting with someone, whether it be on a dating app or a social app or a social site like Facebook, is to look into their background. Okay, many of them have jobs that are overseas, far away. They're out of touch. There's no close physical location. Sometimes they're a soldier in combat, but they can't talk on the phone, but they can text on WhatsApp, or they can communicate on Facebook or Hangouts. Sometimes they're engineers. One of the most common is oil rig scammers. There are dozens of oil rig scammers, and they claim they can't use their phone because the oil rig will blow up. Imagine that, a mobile phone blowing up an oil rig. So when you're dating or looking to date online, it's important to look at who this person is. Okay, what is their background? Now, if they have a Facebook page, one of the telltale signs of fake Facebook pages, when you look at their friends, they have no family. Or a lot of the friends, none of them will be family and share their last name. So, for example, if I had a fake Facebook page of Frank Ahern, you wouldn't see Aherns like cousins, brothers, sisters, aunts, or uncles. So many times it's just them and a bunch of friends. Usually it is a boatload of women as friends. So it's a red flag to watch out for. The biggest red flag is when you say, hey, let's video, and they make an excuse and say no. Some will say my mobile phone is broke. It's like, hello. I mean, go out and get a $10 mobile phone and let's video. Go to an internet cafe, borrow your friend's mobile phone for 5 minutes. Everybody has access to video. Sometimes they'll say they're in a bad service area. Now, unless they're like in a cave in the Himalayas, sounds like bullshit to me. The other thing is, some of them who are engineers will claim that they have a government phone because it's a government contract and the video is disabled. If a person refuses to video with you like this for like 5-10 minutes and you don't see their eyes move and you don't see their lips move, there's a problem. If they refuse to video, there's a problem. You should say goodbye, good luck, nice knowing you. Now, you have to be very careful because sometimes what I've seen scammers do is they print out a sheet of paper and it's a photo of the person they're impersonating, and they cut out the lips and they cut out the eyes and they hold the paper close up and they hold the camera close and they will speak. But what you have to pay attention is the background. You have to ask questions. Hey, turn around. Let me see the room. What's behind you? Let me see both hands. You want to engage. You want to make sure they're not trying to fool you. Another thing that romance scammers do is they will tell you their audio is broke and they can only type. So what they do is they upload a video of the person they're impersonating, and it's just a continuously looped video. Remember, photos and videos have no time to them. They could have been taken today or 5 years ago. So be very careful. And if you're going to video with someone, hi, How are you doing? Where are you from? Where did you grow up? Where are you working now? Listen to their accent. If their accent doesn't sound right, ask them, okay? Also, when you're text messaging, see, most romance scams escalate and become very close during a text message or during text messaging. And read what they write or type carefully. Does this sound like an American? Does this sound like a Brit? Does this sound like an Aussie? Because a bunch of the time, they don't have the same dialogue or the same lingo. I mean, if you're talking to someone who's supposedly American and they use the term flat as opposed to apartment, it's a problem. They're not American, okay? So listen to the words they use. Are they American words? Are they Australian or New Zealand slang or colloquial? Also, what happens is romance scammers love Google Hangouts. They all want you to go to Google Hangouts. Now, again, if you don't video every day with them, it's a problem, okay? If they make an excuse, it's a problem. If you call them and they never answer, it's a problem. Listen to the conversation if you do speak to them. Notice the hours, what time zone they call or speak on. Is it between these hours, which happens to be your night, and supposedly their day? I mean, if you're in Oregon and they're in New York, but they're only contacting you at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's a problem. There's nothing wrong with asking for someone who you are so-called falling in love with identification. Ask them to send a passport. Now, you have to look at a passport, and just because they send the passport doesn't mean it's valid. There are ways of looking at the passport and see what's on there, making sure it's correct. Is the font correct? Look online at a passport to that country. Does it match up? Do the dates match up? Is it 5 years, 10 years, 3 years? Does it say, have the letter F at the bottom, where it means female, when it should be M for male? Romance scammers, what they do is they start doting and they start loving, they start caring, and I love you, baby, you're my woman, you're my heart, I'm going to come there, we're going to have a great time, then boom, something happens, a disaster befalls them. And they need money, and they want you to send money. The moment someone asks you for money is the moment to realize that they are a scam. See, and how you'll know they're a scam is they won't have you send money to their name. They'll have you send money to somebody else's name, maybe to somebody in Turkey, Nigeria, or another woman in California or Singapore, but never to them. And they'll make an excuse of why they can't send it. And you know what the bottom line is? It's bullshit. It's a lie. They are a romance scammer. And what you have to be careful of is falling into this, believing them, when all the chips are saying this person works overseas, I've never seen them on video, I've spoken to them once, we text at weird hours, he calls me my queen, my darling, okay? He sounds odd on the phone. He doesn't sound like he's from the country he claims. When you start noticing these things, you have to take responsibility and say, hey, this is a problem. Because if you send him money, it's more than likely you will never get the money back. It's very, very difficult to recover funds. Now, what you have to be careful too, sometimes romance scammers will use women as mules, money mules, where they'll say, hey, listen, I'm getting paid from a company. Can you receive money for me? Next thing you know, you're getting $10,000 from somebody in Norway, $5,000 from somebody in Paris, $8,000 from somebody in Germany, in California, and you start receiving all this money, and then he tells you to wire transfer it elsewhere. The bottom line is, if you meet someone online, you have more of a chance of meeting a romance scammer than a real person. So do your homework. One, if they don't video with you, a clear video the way this is, where their hands moving, they do things like that, they speak, walk away. If they can't talk on the phone and they don't sound like where they're from, walk away. If they're an engineer, if they're a soldier, if they're an oil rig worker, or if they are someone who works in a far off place, walk away. What do you need to be in a relationship with someone who's on the other side of the world? And internet and online relationships are different than long distance relationships. A long distance relationship is when you meet someone somewhere and you guys hit it off and you start talking, but you already met the person and you continue that relationship even though you're in different places. That's not an online relationship. An online relationship where you never met the person is a crime waiting to happen. And I don't mean to be so negative, but that's just the way it is. Remember, if you send money to a stranger, you will probably never get it back. So don't do that. Be safe and be aware and investigate the person you are so-called dating. Good luck.